You know what changes? Everything. Times change. Technology changes. People change. Sometimes it seems overnight. You can resist it. You can adapt to it. But you can't ignore it. Our thinking is to lead it by changing the way we work, changing the way expectations are met, leading clients and the practice of law forward. You know what that changes? Everything.
Hi, welcome to Take 5 of the Top 50. It's the video interview series where we ask our 2020 Top 50 CEOs just 5 questions in an effort to see if we can find out what makes them tick. I am Dawn Chafe. I'm the co-owner and executive editor of Atlantic Business Magazine. Today, I am joined by Pat Whalen. Pat is the president and CEO of Lumen Ultra Technologies in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Pat, thanks so much for joining me.
So if you had have asked me that question a year ago or a little over a year ago, it would have been a much more complicated answer. But now it's relatively simple because we're all thinking about what we do on a daily basis. We measure microorganisms and we measure microorganisms in everything from air to water to wastewater and now in people. Which we never used to be able to do previously, but we developed that capability in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So Lumen Ultra has been in this business for the better part of 25 years. And we initially were focused on the water and wastewater sector only. And within that sector, we would help primarily municipalities or industrial manufacturing plants determine the presence of microorganisms in their water systems, their wastewater systems, for everything from human health concerns to environmental impact or process problems, product problems on food and beverage applications, things like that. And we provide, cutting edge solutions that give results in minutes versus the days it typically takes to get those kinds of results. That's what we spent 25 years on. And then last year we introduced the potential to measure certain infections in people with a focus on COVID-19. And now we're selling to governments and hospitals and clinics and laboratories around North America and Western Europe, in addition to our legacy business of water and wastewater testing. Well, part of the advantage we have in that regard is that molecular biology is a bloody complicated subject, and it requires a certain amount of knowledge to even be able to understand how to build the types of products that we build. But we're not the only ones in the world that do this, of course, and we have had some competitors that have come on to try and do similar things to what we are capable of doing. And some of them have been successful in that they have been able to develop similar types of tests, but where they fall a bit short and have a difficult time, we'll say, replicating what we do is on our commitment to converting data into actionable insight. And what I mean by that is that any test will generate data and potentially give you a red, yellow, or green kind of traffic light system. But with the 25 years of experience that we have and the knowledge we've accumulated amongst our 150 plus employees, we have a certain perspective on the world and understanding of the applications that we serve. And we build, in addition to the tests, software platforms that actually can take the knowledge we have and infuse it into the data that our customers generate to provide them with actual recommendations rather than just numbers. And that kind of intellectual property, which is, if you think of it like an iceberg, is all underneath the water. There's 10% that's sitting above the water, and then a whole bunch that's sitting underneath the water that others just can't see. And that's really what sets us apart within our marketplace, and something we continue to build over the years as we get into new applications like clinical diagnostics. So, we're committed to continuously developing our intellectual property such that even if competitors are able to catch up to a certain degree, we're still forging ahead faster than they can catch up. Well, first things first, I've never encountered a business that doesn't require at least one person to survive and thrive, and our people are our most important asset. So when COVID first, reared its head to the world, being an international company, we have multiple different sites in Canada, US, Europe, Australia. The initial concern was, okay, how do we keep our people safe? How do we keep ourselves educated and informed with all these different jurisdictions that have, all their own different rules? So our first focus was on our people, securing our facilities, creating the right operating procedures around how we manage traffic in and out of those facilities, and ultimately keep people safe, keep the lights on, and then ultimately be able to serve our customers, all of whom are essential businesses. So we put measures into place very early on. Being an international company with multiple sites and operations around the world, we were already quite accustomed to working virtually. So anybody that didn't need to be in a brick and mortar facility switched to working from home and primarily through Teams and Zoom. And we've been able to maintain I would say, a pretty good cadence on that throughout the entire period, to the point where we grew our staff from 70 people to 150 people in about 10 months. And that's without being able to actually be on site. About 80% of our staff work virtually. So, there are plenty of people who now work for Lumen Ultra that I wouldn't be able to pick out of a police lineup because I've never even met them. That's a testament to the quality of our team and being able to find the people that they needed to be able to advance the business and ultimately deliver the benefits that Lumen Ultra has been able to bring to Canada, the United States, Western Europe, and other countries around the world in combating the pandemic. So, we, in many ways, we initially battened down the hatches and made sure that we were keeping our people safe. And then we went to work on growing the most in 1 year that this company ever has to the benefit of the world in combating the pandemic. So I think we've done fairly well. Say the hardest part is going from being somebody who has a training in chemical engineering that grew up in a laboratory doing research and development or production of chemical reagents and tests for doing certain things to figuring out how to read a financial statement and actually understand what it means. I didn't have the benefit of any kind of business training or an MBA or anything like that. I leaned on the counsel of my trusted advisors that could help me understand the different dynamics within the management of a business, everything from financial management to human resource management to sales and marketing and other things like that. So I was lucky to have the support that I had in helping me understand how to run a business. But ultimately, the great equalizer that I've always had is I just work harder than just about anybody else. I became very accustomed to putting in 100-hour work weeks just to make sure that the goals could get achieved. And I grew up being infused with the value of continuous improvement and always trying to do better. Something that my father drilled into me from a very young age when, I would come home all happy with myself that I got 99% on a test, and he would ask me what happened to the other 1%. That stuck with me throughout my entire life and continues to stick with me to the point where I'm always trying to do better, no matter how much success we might have. We always learn more from our mistakes and from the challenges that they create. So, the hardest part in that transition or learning curve was just learning the fundamentals around how to operate and grow a business. And I made up for that with, sweat equity, elbow grease, whatever you want to call it. I started in this business when I was 15 years old. I turned 41 this year, so you can do the math as to how long it has been part of my life, longer than anybody else. And I would never ever expect anyone else to have the same care and passion about the business that has become Lumen Ultra as I do, at least, given that perspective. What I aim to do on a day in, day out basis is inspire others, try to give others the opportunity to make this as important to them as it has been to me. And that has been it's been a very personal mission for me over the past 4 or 5 years. When I brought on a business partner to help me in growing this business in 2016, one of the commitments that I made to myself is that I am going to build this business in a way that it could survive and thrive without me one day. That day hasn't come, and I don't even know, when that day might be, because I'm still having so much fun doing it every single day. I get out of bed early in the morning, go to bed late at night, with it being the first and last thing that I think about. But what I'm finding the satisfaction in is in empowering others to be able to make a difference within what we do on a day in, day out basis at Lumen Ultra, and what ultimately our customers are able to do with the goods that we deliver, the services that we deliver to them, and be able to make a mark on the world. So overall, it's very important to me that our staff and our stakeholders have that opportunity to be able to make their own impression, make their own mark, and develop their own enthusiasm, not the same degree that I have, but their own degree of enthusiasm, ultimately. And that way it becomes an even more powerful enterprise than, just what I think about it.